The dangerous side of positive thinking. William James explains the price. What if the relentless pursuit of happiness, the constant pressure to maintain a positive outlook, is not just ineffective, but actively harmful? We are bombarded with messages telling us to smile more, to reframe negative thoughts, to manifest our desires with unwavering optimism. We are led to believe that the absence of struggle, the perpetual state of cheerful contentment, is the ultimate goal, the hallmark of a well-lived life. But beneath this glossy veneer of enforced positivity, a profound dissonance often festers. Many find themselves caught in a silent, internal battle, wrestling with a gnawing sense of inadequacy, a fear that their authentic emotions are somehow unacceptable, a sign of personal failure. This is the subtle, insidious danger of positive thinking when it becomes a dogma, a rigid prescription that denies the full spectrum of human experience. It's the trap of believing that only the bright, shining aspects of life are worthy of attention, leaving us ill-equipped to navigate the inevitable shadows, the moments of sorrow, doubt, and disillusionment that are as much a part of our reality as joy and triumph. This script will explore the hidden costs of this cultural imperative, delving into why a life solely dedicated to positive thinking can paradoxically lead to deeper unhappiness and spiritual stagnation. We will uncover a more nuanced, resilient path forward, one that embraces the totality of our being, acknowledging both the light and the dark, not as opposing forces to be conquered, but as integral elements of a rich and meaningful existence. The journey we embark on today is not about abandoning hope or embracing despair, but about understanding the profound wisdom that lies in acknowledging reality in its entirety, and in doing so, finding a more authentic and enduring peace. This pervasive cultural narrative that happiness is a constant state to be achieved and maintained often leaves us feeling isolated and ashamed when we inevitably falter. The pressure to project an image of perpetual well-being can create a chasm between our inner reality and our outer presentation, breeding a silent anxiety that our true selves are not enough. We learn to suppress or deny difficult emotions, fearing they will sabotage our efforts to attract good things, or simply mark us as negative individuals. This can lead to a superficial engagement with life, a constant effort to paper over cracks rather than addressing the underlying foundations. The very tools we employ to feel better, when wielded without critical discernment, can become instruments of self-deception and emotional repression. We might find ourselves engaging in a form of mental gymnastics, forcing cheerful thoughts onto painful experiences, creating a disconnect that leaves us feeling hollow and inauthentic. This is not to say that optimism is inherently flawed. Rather, it is the exclusive pursuit of it, the insistence on a one-dimensional emotional landscape that poses a significant problem. When we are taught that only positive thoughts are constructive, we inadvertently invalidate the crucial role that negative emotions play in our growth and understanding. These feelings, however uncomfortable, are vital signals, guiding us towards what needs attention, healing, and transformation. By pushing them away, we risk missing out on profound opportunities for self-discovery and resilience. This script aims to gently dismantle this harmful dogma, inviting you to explore a more holistic approach to emotional well-being, one that honors the full spectrum of human experience as a pathway to genuine strength and lasting contentment. The contemporary obsession with positive thinking, while seemingly benign, often overlooks a fundamental truth about the human psyche. Our capacity for both light and shadow is essential. We are complex beings, not simple machines programmed for perpetual joy. This rigid adherence to positivity can create a false dichotomy, pitting joy against sorrow, success against failure, as if these were mutually exclusive states. In reality, They are threads woven into the intricate tapestry of life, each contributing to the richness and depth of our experience. When we deny the validity of struggle, of pain, of doubt, we are in essence denying a part of ourselves. This denial doesn't make these experiences disappear. It merely drives them underground, where they can fester and manifest in more destructive ways. The constant effort to maintain a cheerful facade can be exhausting, leading to spiritual fatigue and a sense of existential burnout. It's a performance that drains our energy, leaving us depleted rather than empowered. This script will delve into the psychological and philosophical underpinnings of this phenomenon, exploring how a more nuanced understanding of our emotional landscape can lead to greater authenticity and resilience. We will move beyond the superficial platitudes of enforced happiness to uncover a deeper, more sustainable form of well-being, one that embraces the entirety of our human condition. The journey ahead is about reclaiming our emotional sovereignty, understanding that true strength lies not in the absence of difficulty, but in our capacity to navigate it with wisdom, compassion, and an unwavering connection to our deepest truth. The cultural imperative to always be positive, to present a cheerful countenance regardless of internal turmoil, has created a silent epidemic of emotional suppression. We are taught that bad feelings are to be avoided at all costs, that they are indicators of personal failure or a lack of spiritual fortitude. This creates a profound internal conflict, a relentless pressure to perform happiness, which can be far more damaging than the emotions we are trying to escape. The constant vigilance required to maintain this facade is exhausting, leading to a subtle but pervasive sense of anxiety and inauthenticity. We become afraid of our own inner landscape, of the very feelings that make us human. This is where the wisdom of thinkers like William James becomes not just relevant, but crucial. James, a pioneer of American psychology and philosophy, understood the vital role of struggle, of doubt, and even of what we might call negative experiences in shaping a robust and meaningful life. He recognized that genuine strength and resilience are not built in the absence of hardship, but through the process of confronting and integrating it. To deny the darker aspects of our experience is to deny a fundamental part of ourselves, to cripple our capacity for growth and genuine connection. This script will explore how this uncritical embrace of positive thinking can, paradoxically, lead to a shallower existence, devoid of the depth and richness that comes from acknowledging and learning from our full spectrum of emotions. We will uncover a more authentic path, one that honors the complexity of the human spirit and finds strength not in the denial of difficulty, but in the courage to face it. Our modern world, saturated with curated ideals of perpetual happiness, often traps us in a cycle of performative positivity. We are encouraged to present a flawless exterior, to showcase only the highlights of our lives, leaving little room for the messy, difficult, yet ultimately transformative aspects of the human experience. This relentless pursuit of an unattainable state of constant joy can leave us feeling profoundly inadequate, as if our struggles and authentic emotions are a personal failing. The pressure to always be on, to project an image of unwavering optimism, can breed a deep-seated anxiety and a disconnect from our true selves. We learn to suppress or reframe anything that deviates from this prescribed emotional norm, inadvertently pushing away valuable insights and opportunities for growth. This is the insidious danger of positive thinking when it becomes a dogma, a rigid prescription that denies the full spectrum of human experience. It's a form of spiritual bypass, a quick fix that avoids the necessary work of facing our shadows and integrating our whole being. This script will delve into the hidden costs of this cultural obsession, exploring how a more nuanced approach, one that embraces the totality of our emotional landscape, can lead to a more authentic, resilient, and ultimately, more deeply fulfilling existence. We will move beyond the superficial platitudes to uncover a profound wisdom that recognizes the inherent value in all our experiences, not as obstacles to happiness, but as essential components of a rich and meaningful life. The insidious nature of enforced positivity often manifests as a subtle erosion of our capacity for genuine emotional processing, leading to a peculiar form of spiritual fatigue. When we consistently suppress or reframe difficult feelings, disappointment, frustration, grief, we are essentially short-circuiting a vital internal mechanism. These emotions, though uncomfortable, are messengers, carrying crucial information about our unmet needs, our boundaries, or areas requiring attention and healing. By habitually pushing them aside, we deny ourselves the opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. This constant internal battle, this ongoing effort to maintain a veneer of unruffled cheerfulness, consumes immense psychic energy. It's akin to holding a beach ball underwater. The effort required is immense, and the moment you relax your grip, it bursts to the surface with surprising force. Consequently, many individuals find themselves experiencing a pervasive sense of weariness, a feeling of being drained and uninspired, even when outwardly appearing successful or content. This isn't the healthy tiredness that follows a day of meaningful exertion, but a soul-deep exhaustion stemming from the continuous denial of reality. Furthermore, this relentless focus on positivity can foster a dangerous detachment from our own authentic selves, creating an internal dissonance that gnaws at our sense of integrity. When our external presentation, the cheerful smile, the optimistic outlook, is perpetually at odds with our internal reality, the quiet anxieties, the moments of doubt, the lingering sadness, we begin to lose touch with who we truly are. This disconnect can manifest as a feeling of being an imposter in our own lives, a sense that we are merely playing a role. Consider the individual who, after a significant loss, is constantly told to look on the bright side or focus on the good memories. While well-intentioned, these platitudes can invalidate the natural grieving process, forcing the individual to put on a brave face when they desperately need space to feel their sorrow. Over time, this suppression can lead to a numbing of emotions, a diminishment of our capacity for empathy and genuine connection, not only with ourselves but with others. It creates a superficiality that prevents deep, meaningful engagement with life's complexities. Conversely, a more balanced perspective acknowledges that experiencing a full range of emotions is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our aliveness and capacity for depth. True emotional resilience isn't about avoiding negative feelings. It's about developing the capacity to acknowledge them without being consumed by them. It's about understanding that sadness can coexist with gratitude, that disappointment can be a catalyst for redirection, and that doubt can be an invitation to deeper inquiry. For instance, imagine an artist struggling with a creative block. A purely positive thinking approach might insist on forcing inspiration through sheer willpower, leading to frustration and burnout. A more integrated approach, however, would acknowledge the block as a valid part of the creative process, perhaps using the quietude it imposes to reflect, explore new techniques, or simply rest, trusting that the creative flow will return when it is ready. This acceptance allows for a more sustainable and authentic engagement with the creative journey, fostering patience and self-compassion. Another crucial layer to consider is how this rigid adherence to positivity can hinder our ability to engage in necessary conflict and problem-solving. When the prevailing ethos is one of constant agreement and cheerful disposition, authentic disagreements or the expression of valid concerns can be perceived as disruptive or negative. This can lead to a culture where underlying issues are left unaddressed, festering beneath a surface of forced harmony. Consider a workplace where feedback is consistently couched in overly positive terms, making it difficult to convey constructive criticism effectively. Employees may hesitate to voice legitimate concerns for fear of being labeled as difficult or negative. Consequently, problems can escalate and genuine progress is stifled, all in the name of maintaining an unblemished facade of positivity. This avoidance of honest dialogue, driven by a fear of negativity, ultimately undermines the very goals that positive thinking purports to serve: progress, well-being, and harmonious relationships. It creates a brittle environment, prone to collapse when faced with authentic challenges. The pervasive cultural endorsement of relentless positivity can subtly undermine our capacity for profound empathy and genuine interpersonal connection. When we are conditioned to prioritize the display of a cheerful demeanor, we inadvertently create barriers to authentic vulnerability, both in ourselves and in our interactions with others. Imagine a friend confiding in you about a significant setback, a job loss, a relationship ending. If your immediate, almost reflexive response is to offer platitudes about how it's for the best, or to quickly pivot to a more uplifting topic, you risk invalidating their pain. This isn't to say we shouldn't offer comfort, but true empathy requires sitting with another's discomfort, acknowledging the validity of their sadness or anger, rather than attempting to swiftly fix it with forced optimism. Such actions, while seemingly helpful, can communicate an unspoken message: your negative emotions are unacceptable or too difficult for me to bear. This can lead to a chilling effect, where individuals become hesitant to share their true feelings, fearing judgment or a lack of understanding. Consequently, relationships can become superficial, lacking the depth that arises from shared vulnerability and mutual acceptance of life's full emotional spectrum. Furthermore, this cultural emphasis on positivity can inadvertently foster a sense of spiritual arrogance or a misguided belief in personal exceptionalism. When individuals are constantly encouraged to believe that their positive thoughts are directly correlating to positive outcomes, they may begin to attribute their successes solely to their mindset, while dismissing external factors or the struggles of others. This can lead to a subtle yet damaging form of judgment towards those experiencing hardship. The unspoken implication can be that if someone is suffering, it must be due to their own lack of positive thinking or spiritual deficiency. This perspective completely overlooks the myriad complex societal, economic, and personal factors that contribute to an individual's circumstances. It's a form of toxic positivity that can strip away compassion and replace it with a self-righteous conviction that one's own positive disposition has somehow insulated them from life's inherent difficulties. This can create an isolating echo chamber, where one's own perceived spiritual superiority prevents genuine connection with the shared human experience of struggle and imperfection. Consider, for instance, the way social media often amplifies this phenomenon. Platforms are inundated with curated images of perfect lives, triumphs, and unwavering happiness. While inspiring in moderation, the constant barrage can create an unrealistic benchmark for emotional well-being. Users may feel compelled to present a similarly idealized version of their own lives, leading to a cycle of comparison and perceived inadequacy. When someone is genuinely struggling, seeing an endless stream of seemingly effortless joy and success can exacerbate feelings of isolation and personal failure. They might internalize the message that their own challenges are unique or insurmountable, simply because they don't see them reflected in the highlight reels of others. This constant exposure to a narrow band of emotional expression can distort our perception of what constitutes a normal, healthy emotional life, making it harder to accept our own fluctuations and those of the people around us. Conversely, Embracing a more holistic view of emotional experience allows for a richer appreciation of life's nuances. It recognizes that periods of difficulty are not aberrations, but integral parts of the human journey, often serving as fertile ground for profound personal growth, creativity, and the development of deeper wisdom. Think of the resilience forged in the aftermath of a significant challenge. It is often in navigating the darkness that we discover inner strengths we never knew we possessed. This doesn't mean romanticizing suffering, but rather acknowledging its potential to refine us, to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world, and to foster a more profound sense of gratitude for moments of peace and joy when they arrive. This perspective allows for a more authentic and sustainable form of well-being, one that is not dependent on the fleeting nature of positive circumstances, but rooted in an inner fortitude cultivated through the acceptance and integration of all life's experiences. Now consider how this applies when you face a situation where someone else is expressing distress. Instead of immediately jumping to solutions or offering cheerful reassurances, try practicing active listening. Allow them the space to articulate their feelings without interruption or judgment. Your presence, your willingness to simply bear witness to their pain, can be far more healing than any forced optimism. Ask open-ended questions like, "How does that feel for you?" Or "What do you need right now?" This approach fosters a genuine connection, validating their experience and demonstrating that their emotions are not a burden, but a part of their human story, one you are willing to share. This practice of presence over prescription is a powerful antidote to the superficiality that can arise from an overemphasis on positivity. It's about recognizing that sometimes the most profound act of support is simply to be present, to hold space, and to offer unwavering acceptance of another's full humanity. The unyielding pressure to maintain a perpetually optimistic disposition can paradoxically cultivate a deeper, more insidious form of self-deception, one that shields us from the essential lessons embedded within our struggles. When we habitually reframe challenges as mere opportunities for growth without allowing ourselves to fully acknowledge the inherent difficulty or pain, we risk developing a shallow understanding of resilience. This isn't about wallowing in negativity. Rather, it's about recognizing that authentic strength is often forged in the crucible of genuine adversity, not by merely glossing over it. Imagine a craftsman who, upon encountering a flaw in their work, immediately dismisses it as a learning experience, without truly analyzing the root cause of the imperfection. While the intention is positive, the underlying issue remains unaddressed, and the craftsman misses the opportunity to refine their technique with true precision. Consequently, the same flaws may reappear, leading to a cycle of superficial growth that never quite reaches mastery. This constant redirection away from discomfort can stunt our emotional and psychological development, preventing us from building the robust inner scaffolding necessary to navigate life's more profound challenges. Building on this, however, the relentless pursuit of positive affirmations, when disconnected from lived experience, can morph into a form of magical thinking. We might repeat mantras like, "I am abundant," or "Everything is working out for me," hoping that the sheer force of these declarations will manifest desired outcomes, regardless of our current reality or the actions taken. This can breed a passive approach to life, where individuals wait for external circumstances to align with their affirmations, rather than actively engaging in the practical steps required to effect change. Consider the student who, facing a daunting exam, dedicates hours to repeating positive affirmations about acing the test, while neglecting to study the material. The affirmations, however potent they feel, cannot substitute for diligent preparation. This disconnect between intention and action can lead to profound disappointment and a reinforcement of the belief that positive thinking alone is insufficient, without necessarily understanding why. It can also foster a sense of helplessness when desired outcomes don't materialize, as the individual may feel they have done all the right things emotionally, yet still fallen short. Furthermore, an overemphasis on positive thinking can inadvertently foster a sense of spiritual bypassing in our relationships. When we encounter friends or loved ones experiencing genuine hardship, the instinct to immediately offer solutions or cheerful reassurances, while stemming from a desire to help, can sometimes serve to shut down authentic emotional expression. Instead of allowing space for grief, anger, or disappointment, we might inadvertently push individuals towards a premature state of positivity. Picture a scenario where a colleague is expressing frustration about a project delay. A response that immediately jumps to "don't worry, something better will come along" can invalidate their current feelings of frustration and the legitimate concerns they may have about the project's timeline. True support often involves acknowledging the difficulty of the present moment, offering a listening ear, and validating their emotional experience before exploring potential positive outcomes. This allows for a deeper, more authentic connection built on mutual understanding and acceptance of the full spectrum of human emotions. Conversely, this cultural inclination towards positivity can also create a peculiar form of emotional isolation. When individuals feel that their struggles are not permissible to express, or that they must always present a cheerful front, they can withdraw from genuine connection. They may fear that revealing their true feelings will burden others or lead to social ostracization. This leads to a situation where, surrounded by people, one can still feel profoundly alone, trapped within their own carefully constructed facade of happiness. It's like attending a vibrant party, but feeling utterly disconnected from the merriment, forced to wear a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. This internal disconnect can be deeply disorienting and contribute to a pervasive sense of emptiness, even amidst outward signs of success or social engagement. The very tools that are meant to foster connection, positive interactions, become instruments of separation when they are used to mask authentic experience. Now consider how this applies when you find yourself in a moment of personal difficulty. Instead of immediately searching for a silver lining or forcing a positive reframe, try simply acknowledging the reality of the situation. Allow yourself to feel whatever emotions arise without judgment. Ask yourself, what is truly happening here, and what am I feeling in response? This practice of honest self-appraisal, of sitting with discomfort, is not about succumbing to negativity, but about cultivating a profound self-awareness. It's about recognizing that acknowledging the shadow aspect of an experience doesn't diminish its potential for eventual positive transformation. Rather, it lays the groundwork for a more robust and authentic form of growth. This willingness to confront the less palatable aspects of our lives is where true wisdom and enduring strength are cultivated, far beyond the fleeting comfort of enforced optimism. As we stand at this juncture, having navigated the intricate landscape of our inner world and the often misunderstood currents of our emotional lives, a subtle yet profound recalibration begins to take shape within our understanding. The journey thus far has illuminated the delicate balance between embracing life's inherent vibrancy and acknowledging the inevitable shadows that lend it depth. It's akin to appreciating the full spectrum of color, understanding that the richness of light is profoundly understood only in contrast with its absence, and that true beauty lies not in the suppression of one for the other, but in their harmonious interplay. The whispers of deeper wisdom we've encountered suggest that our capacity for navigating the complexities of existence is not diminished by acknowledging struggle, but rather profoundly amplified by it. Reflecting on this journey so far, a new perspective begins to emerge, one that moves beyond prescriptive notions of happiness and toward a more integrated embrace of our entire being. The threads of our exploration converge, suggesting that the most enduring forms of peace and fulfillment arise not from an exclusive focus on the positive, but from a courageous and compassionate engagement with all that life presents. This evolving awareness points towards a more sustainable way of being, one that honors the intricate tapestry of human experience, recognizing that every hue, every texture contributes to the wholeness of the portrait. The path forward, therefore, is not about eradicating difficulty, but about cultivating a profound inner resilience that allows us to move through it with grace and authenticity, drawing strength from the very experiences we might once have sought to avoid. In light of these insights, the way we approach our daily lives, our interactions, and our internal dialogues begins to shift. The cumulative effect of these contemplations is a gentle unveiling, a clearing of the mental and emotional fog that often obscures our innate sense of peace. It's as if we've been learning to read a complex map, and now the contours and pathways are becoming clearer, revealing not a single destination of perpetual bliss, but a rich and varied terrain to be explored with awareness and intention. This emerging clarity prepares us for the final distillation of these profound truths, guiding us toward an understanding that resonates with the very core of our being. The convergence of these ideas prepares us for a final grounding realization, a quiet knowing that anchors our inner journey. The tapestry of our existence is woven with threads of both luminous joy and profound shadow, and it is in the courageous embrace of this duality that true resilience and authentic peace are found. The relentless cultural pressure to maintain an unblemished facade of positivity, while seemingly aimed at fostering well-being, can paradoxically lead to a spiritual exhaustion and a profound disconnect from our authentic selves. We have explored how this rigid adherence to optimism can stifle genuine emotional processing, hinder deep interpersonal connection, and even foster a subtle form of self-deception by shielding us from the vital lessons embedded within our struggles. The wisdom gleaned from contemplative traditions and psychological insights points not towards the eradication of difficulty, but towards the cultivation of an inner fortitude that allows us to navigate life's inevitable complexities with grace and unwavering self-compassion. This journey has revealed that true strength is not found in the absence of challenge, but in our capacity to meet it, to acknowledge its presence, and to learn from its unfolding. When we allow ourselves to feel the full spectrum of human emotions, the sorrow that accompanies loss, the frustration that arises from unmet expectations, the doubt that questions our path, we are not succumbing to negativity, but engaging in a vital act of self-discovery. These experiences, far from being impediments to happiness, are often the very catalysts that deepen our understanding, refine our character, and foster a more profound and enduring sense of peace. It is in the quiet space of acceptance, where we allow ourselves to be fully present with what is, that the seeds of genuine transformation are sown. The implication of this understanding is not a call to abandon hope or to embrace despair, but an invitation to a more honest, more integrated way of living. It is about recognizing that the most potent forms of well-being are not achieved through the suppression of difficult feelings, but through their gentle acknowledgement and wise integration. This means cultivating the courage to be vulnerable, both with ourselves and with others, understanding that authentic connection blossoms in the fertile ground of shared humanity, with all its imperfections and triumphs. It is in this space of radical acceptance, where we honor the entirety of our being, that we discover a resilience that is not brittle and performative, but deep, flexible, and profoundly life-affirming. The true practice begins now, not in striving for an unattainable perfection, but in the gentle, ongoing commitment to showing up for our lives in all their magnificent complexity with an open heart and an unwavering